So I'll just share a little bit about how yoga can support you through menopause as well. We don't have too much time to go in depth and give it the due justice it deserves, but with our yoga practice, just touching on some of the things that Dr. Rafina mentioned, you know, as you transition into menopause, the opportunity is there for growth. And as she mentioned, from a much deeper perspective than just our body or just our material status, there is a really wonderful opportunity for diving into the path of self-discovery. And our yoga practices really help us to build self-awareness and give us that pathway into self-discovery or the yoga journey. So that's, I would say, the greatest gem that yoga has to offer for menopause. But then on a more physical level as well, one of the other big contributing factors was stress of all its different kinds, and so our practice, as we know, helps us with stress management. And it shouldn't just be saved for, oh, when I feel stressed, I go and calm myself down, but actually having a regular practice in our lives that incorporates pranayama, meditation, asana practice will help us to be more regulated in our nervous system as we face the stresses of life. So trying to have that proactive approach or an offense approach where we live in a more regulated state, we're able to have a little bit more resilience in our daily life as well, so that the stresses of life don't hit us so hard. And then, stress contributes to our emotional health and well-being or disharmony. But it's also a major factor in some of the things that come up on the physical side as well. So stress can be a major contributing factor for leaching from bones as well. So if you're in a highly stressed state all the time, you're potentially more likely to experience a common symptom, which is osteoporosis, as you enter into your menopausal phase. So really trying to live in a more harmonious manner, building that foundation in your yoga practice is just one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And then I guess, like, speaking to bones, muscle health, that's another thing that we might face during menopause is loss of strength, loss of bone density. And our yoga practice is not the best way. I think exercise is really probably the best way to build strength and bone density. But as far as choosing a practice that does not contribute any stress, or where we may have some symptoms of aches and pains or discomfort in our bones or muscle deterioration, our yoga practice does offer strengthening poses and opportunities in a manner that is quite gentle. So if you are already suffering osteoporosis, you already had that you've already had that diagnosis, as you hit menopause, you can look to your practice knowing that you've got something safe that isn't going to compound your situation further. So yeah, I think the best approach, like we discovered, or like was reinforced in Dr. Rafina's presentation, is don't leave it until menopause hits. Try and establish the habits and the lifestyle now, and that will really support you in having a much more graceful transition through menopause. So today's practice, it's only 30 minutes, short and sweet. So obviously I can't jam everything in with the strengthening and all that kind of stuff. But what I thought we'd do is just a really nice, simple practice that does give you a cooling breathing technique, some simple mantra meditation techniques, some mindfulness, and some poses that you can practice pretty much no matter how you feel. Like if you're feeling a little bit low on energy, or if you're a bit strapped for time, if you don't have many props or anything, you can still go through these poses and give your body the wonderful benefits that yoga has to offer, and your mind and yourself too. So if you'd like to get comfortable, we'll start seated, and if you do have any props available, bolsters, blocks, maybe a blanket for Shavasana at the end as well, just make sure you've got them within arm's reach. So sitting comfortably, Hands placed on your laps, palms down. And if you like, closing your eyes or having your eyes half closed and gazing down at the tip of your nose. And coming back to awareness of your environment. Noticing the sounds around you. Some close by and some further away. Becoming aware of the air temperature and the feeling of the air on your skin. Begin to relax into your legs and hips. Soften into your belly and soften into your chest, shoulders and arms. And on your next inhale, gently lift into your spine, lifting all the way into the crown of your head. Maintaining that softness through your body, and gently relax and release into your jaw and face. And bringing your awareness to your breath, becoming the observer of the natural flow of your breath in and out of your nose. And now gradually deepening your breath, drawing it all the way down into the lower lobes of your lungs. And exhaling completely. And as you draw the breath in, feeling your belly naturally expand. And as you exhale, gently drawing your belly in, helping to release any last bits of air. So this is a really nice, simple, easy way to tap into the benefit of pranayama, just full yoga breathing. So for today's practice, if you want to continue on in that way, go ahead. Other option is we'll move into Shitali breathing, which is a really nice cooling breath. So for those times of hot flushes, or even if you just want to bring that coolness into your mind, we'll make a roll through our tongue, and drawing the breath in through that rolled tongue, and then closing the mouth gently, exhaling out through the nose or through pursed lips. And so if anyone has trouble rolling your tongue, maybe you have tongue tie, maybe you have tightness in your jaw, another option is to just bring your teeth together and draw the breath in through your teeth. And it'll make a little hissing sound, and then exhaling through pursed lips. So again, you're getting that nice cooling breath. So whichever feels most comfortable and natural for you. We'll do 5 rounds with the mouth shaped in this way. Let's do 2 more breaths in this way. Once you finish the final breath, dropping back into regular breathing pattern. And from here, we'll move into a meditation technique called Goranga breathing. This is a really nice way we can simply incorporate mantra meditation. So, inhaling, we'll inhale together, and as we'll exhale, we'll say the sound Goranga for the entire length of our exhalation. And all you need to do is allow your mind to rest in this beautiful sacred mantra. So let's exhale completely to sync our breath. And take a deep inhale. And say the sound. Goranga. Inhale. Goranga. Continue on. Inhale. Goranga. Inhale. Goranga. One last time. Goranga. Returning to your regular breathing pattern, allowing the effects of the mantra to resonate through your mind and heart. And now coming back to your breath and opening your eyes. And just noticing how you feel with this nice little practice, which you can also use as a little mini practice. If you only have time for something short and sweet, you can do a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of breath work, and then that short mantra meditation. And that's a really great way to add the benefits of yoga to your life in an accessible way. So sitting comfortably, and we'll go into some seated spinal twists. Taking your left hand to your right knee and your right hand behind you. Inhale and lift through your spine as you rotate and turn to the right. Maintaining your breath as you hold this position. And slowly come back to center. Take the right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind you. Inhale, soften through your belly, lift through your spine, turning to look to the left. And slowly come back to center. And just taking a little reach from side to side, moving with your breath. Inhaling up and over. One more time each way. Beautiful. Come back to center and then come over onto all fours. Stacking your shoulders above your wrists and your hips above your knees. Spreading your fingers and thumbs nice and wide. So as you inhale, tilt your pelvis forward, look forward and lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone, drawing your chin in toward your chest, belly toward the spine. Inhale, looking forward and lengthen. Exhale, rounding the spine in the opposite direction. And now just letting go into the movement, coordinating your movement with your breath. And let's do one more round. And come back to a neutral spine. Bring your knees and heels together, lowering your hips to your heels, forehead to the floor. If you like, you can place a block under your head for a little extra support. Arms down by your sides and relax. Just taking a couple of breaths here, softening into your body, feeling your spine gently lengthen.
Now coming back up to sit on your heels. And if you do use your block, keeping it handy, or if you've got a bolster handy, taking your hands forward, spreading your fingers and thumbs nice and wide, tuck your toes, and slowly lifting up into a modified downward dog position. So starting with your knees bent, and start to press the floor away, roll your upper arms in toward each other, and start to lift into your hips, lengthening your spine. And then begin to paddle out through your heels, lifting and lowering your heels, alternating from side to side. So as we go into some of the inverted postures today, just keeping in mind what Dr. Rafina mentioned about the importance of the pituitary gland. So inversions are really nice for helping to bathe the brain with fresh blood and oxygen, and also can be good for the health of this important gland. So finding your way into downward dog now. And if you would like to explore a little extra support, you can have your bolster or a couple of blocks close by, lowering your head to rest on the block. And what this does as well is enables you to just explore the pose with a little extra support. And for those of you who come to my classes often, we talk about having props, not because you need the prop, but because it's nice to have support, and how that's a nice practice for being able to ask for and consider having support throughout our life as well. I'm staying here for a couple more breaths. Last one, inhale and exhale. And lowering your knees to the floor. Sliding our blocks forward a little. And then tucking your toes, stepping your feet forward, bending through your knees, lay your belly over your thighs. Turning your palms up and let your head hang heavy. And now gradually making your way into a standing forward fold, taking your feet hip distance apart and slowly straightening out through your legs as you slide your hands up your shins. Cradle your elbows in your hands and then begin to drop your upper body forward, bringing your torso down to fold forward over your legs, letting your head hang heavy. So anytime this starts to feel too strong, you can bring a soft bend into your knees. Or for an even more supportive version, bring quite a strong bend into your knees and lay your belly over your thighs and just hang. And it's nice to have that option too on days when you just don't feel like anything too intense. That nice, nurturing, modified position. Staying here for a couple more breaths. Now slowly release out of the pose, lowering your hands to the floor. Bending through your knees, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Coming all the way up to stand, your head is the last to come up. And standing sideways on your mat, take your blocks out in front. Taking your feet wide apart, going into a standing wide-legged forward fold. Turning your toes in slightly so that the outside edges of your feet are running parallel with the edges of your mat. Firm your thighs, take your hands to your hips. Lift your spine and draw your elbows back toward each other, hinging at the hips as you fold forward, lowering your hands to the floor. So already start to feel here, maybe you need to adjust your feet a little wider. And we're going to aim to take the head to rest on the blocks. So this is a really nice, again, supported version. If you're feeling like you don't need the blocks, you can shift your blocks to the side, lowering your head down, placing your hands wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe your crown of the head comes to the floor. And once you're in this position, grounding down through the outer edges of your feet, your toes, your heels, lifting through your inner arches to engage the inner lines of your legs. And then just relax, dropping into your breath. Staying here for 2 more breaths. And now pressing down into your palms, lifting halfway so that your chest is lifted. Soft bend through your knees, taking your hands to your hips, and press yourself up to stand. Heel toe your feet in, coming to stand, and just give your legs a little shake. And then coming down to the floor. Let's have our bolster handy and some blocks handy as well. Taking your legs out in front, flex your toes back toward you, and folding forward over your legs, finding a point of contact for your hands, whether it's your shins, your ankles, feet or toes. Inhale, lift, and exhale, folding forward. Firming through your thighs to help release through the hamstrings. So another option for a supportive experience in this pose is to take your bolster over your legs. Really draw your bolster right into your belly and fold forward over the bolster. And if you want to build up that surface as well, so you can drop your head forward, like so, or turn your palms up. So it just depends what you're in the mood for. Something a bit more supportive, grounding, restorative, or if you feel you need a bit of a stretch, practicing the pose without the props. I'm staying here for about another 5 breaths. And just being patient with each breath and cultivating the awareness of all the subtle shifts and changes, sensations occurring in your body. And getting ready to slowly release. Although I feel like I could have stayed there another 10 breaths. And bring the soles of your feet together, coming into butterfly. So pressing your feet together, wrapping your hands around your feet, lift through your spine, nice and tall. And then slowly folding forward, dropping your elbows into the insides of your knees, pressing your knees or your legs down toward the floor. So as you're working your knees down, you're still lengthening forward with your spine. And to increase the stretch through the back of the neck, gently draw your chin in toward your chest. Staying here for about another 5 or 6 breaths. All right. Lifting up your torso, keeping your legs where they are. And carefully lowering your spine to the floor, coming into a supine butterfly position. If you like to lay back over your bolster, you can go ahead. Turning your palms up. Relax completely, wriggling your shoulders down away from your ears. Letting your legs be heavy, softening into your hips. Now taking your hands under your knees. Bring your knees together, hug your knees in briefly, then lower your feet to the floor, getting ready for bridge pose. With your arms down by your sides, palms down, press into your feet as you lift your hips. We'll lift just to make an angle of our body. Then as you exhale, lower down, bringing your hips to the floor. This time we'll go a little higher. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up. This time coming all the way up into bridge pose, taking your time to get there. There's no rush. Interlocking your hands underneath your body. Roll your shoulders in toward each other, pressing down into your feet and forearms as you lift into your hips. Holding this position and breathing, continuing to open through the chest, drawing the chest in toward the chin. So here we're working into the thyroid glands, and because there is that mild inverted position, also working into pituitary as well. One more breath here. So, beginning to slowly release, unravel your hands, lowering your spine and your hips to the floor. And taking a block as an option. If you don't have a block, you can use your hands. I'll demonstrate both. We're going to go into a supported bridge now with the intention to then either kick over into or kick up into a supported shoulder stand, or if that feels too strong, taking your legs up the wall instead. So inhale, lifting up into bridge. So if you don't have props, you can just place the base of your hand right into your lower back area with your fingers running down the back of your sacrum. And then you'll be able to drop the weight of your hips into your hands and feel this beautiful softening and lengthening through the lower back. And also this gentleness in the pose where you're not having to hold and, really squeeze your muscles. Option with the block is to take the block to the highest setting and run the side of the block along your sacrum. Just making sure that it's balanced, so moving it so that you can drop your weight into it, and then relax. And once you feel steady, you can just take your arms out to the sides. And you may need to just very gently press into your feet to maintain that steadiness over the block. But feeling the backs of your legs and your hips relax. Two more breaths here. And getting ready now to transition into shoulder stand. I'm going to show you the modified version first. So one thing you can do is just go lower your block to the lowest setting and place your sacrum over the block, drawing your knees in and raise your legs up. You can also do this with your legs balancing against a wall for a completely passive experience, or taking your block out to the side And with your hands underneath your lower back, making that nice foundation through the upper arms and the shoulders. Kick your legs up. And so not in full shoulder stand. If you're familiar with full shoulder stand and you'd like to go for it, please, by all means, do. Otherwise, just taking that nice, relaxed variation of half shoulder stand. And you might already be feeling a nice blood flow into your head. Staying with your breath. Two more breaths here. And to come out of the pose, bend your knees and then lower one foot at a time. Release your hands, release your shoulders. Laying flat completely and allowing everything to balance out. Feeling that nice cool rush as you release out of the pose. And just for a brief moment as a counter pose, we'll bring our soles of our feet to the floor, knees falling in toward each other. Place your palms down to the floor and slide them under your hips. And then pressing down into your forearms, going into a supported fish pose where you take the head back just enough to open up through the throat. Maybe the crown of your head comes toward the floor. No pressure on your head or neck. Just focusing on opening up through the throat. And release. Move your hands out to the sides. Raising your knees in, raising your head in toward your knees. And release. Straighten out through the left leg. Our final pose before we go into relaxation. Straightening out through the left leg, bend the right knee, taking it across your body, placing the left hand on top of the right thigh, taking your right arm out at shoulder height. And gently encourage your knee and your shoulder down in opposite directions, turning your head to look to the right. Soften into your belly. Slowly come back to center. And let's change sides. Straighten out through the right leg. Bend the left knee, taking it across your body, placing the right hand on top of the left thigh, extending your left arm out to the left at shoulder height. And begin to work your knee and shoulder down as you turn to look to the left. Staying with your breath. And slowly come back to center. Hug your knees in one last time. And if there's any final little stretches that your body is craving, go ahead and do them. And then make yourself comfortable in Shavasana. You might like to take a bolster under your thighs, under your knees, I should say. And laying back, maybe a cushion under your head if you like, or just laying flat completely in classical Shavasana or corpse pose. So you guys continue laying where you are. I'm going to sit up so that I can guide you through this final part of our practice. Just noticing how your mind and body feel after your practice. And feeling all the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor getting heavier and heavier. And feel as if the entire front of your body is getting lighter and lighter.
as you lay in this nice relaxed position, feeling calm after your practice. Seeing if you can withdraw a little, becoming aloof, present in but aloof from your body, and present to but aloof from the workings of your mind. And there's a beautiful Vedic mantra, Aham Brahmasmi, which translates to, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, I am spirit soul, an eternal spark of the Supreme Soul. And taking some time to pause and reflect on this wisdom can help us to realize that we're so much more than our body, so much more than all the things that happen in our life, including the process of menopause. And by coming back to this wisdom of being spiritual in essence, can help us to have a little grace with how we treat our mind and body throughout the process of menopause, allowing us to foster a life that is spiritually led as we transition into this phase, or even as we prepare to transition into this phase. And just being that silent witness to the happenings and workings of your body. Being the silent witness to the activities of your mind. And being seated firmly in that place within yourself, you, the spirit soul. And the more you practice coming into this awareness of you, the self, the more it becomes easier to live from that place in our day-to-day life. And our yoga practice is a wonderful space to cultivate that self-awareness. And just taking a few more breaths here. And beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes. And slowly and gently rock your head from side to side, starting to come back into awareness of your body. And if you'd like to stay lying down, I'm going to guide you through just a very short and sweet kirtan, chanting the mantra Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, just for a minute or so. You can either lay down and just allow it to wash over you, or if you like, coming to sit up now, and joining in as you feel comfortable. So with kirtan meditation, it's simply meditating or resting your mind in the mantras, drawing it in through your ears, into your mind, and down into your heart. So I'll sing the mantra through twice, and then it will be your turn to sing. And we'll just go back and forth. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana. Your turn. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana,
my turn. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana. Your turn. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana. One last time all together. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana, Mohana. Beautiful. Now we'll close off our practice by bringing our palms together in prayer position and bowing to offer our respects to each other and bowing to offer our respects to the Supreme.